through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I feel massive and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. He be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch out the
Thank you. And thank you, Alex and Coolio, for that great introduction of how to break through the valleys of death as we scale our businesses. My name is Andres. I was born in Spain, grew up in Argentina, and as my wife says, improved in Australia. And that's how I developed my accent. So if you struggle with it, try with your clickers, you might be able to activate the subtitles. 10 years ago, I came to Australia and I co-founded my first company. And we started up, we grew up, and we screwed up, selling it for a fraction of its value. Years later, I had the opportunity to work with a startup where we experienced 10x growth, we scaled up, and we went up to $1 billion valuation. Now, we succeeded, but however, not every company succeeds in that way. And in Australia, the ATO tells us there are 3 million firms. 96% of them remain a startup, and only a few scale up. And the leaders they have to, and they must break through in each stage of growth. This is what is called the valleys of death. And it's because they have to find new ways to succeed, and as they ensure financial success and a great culture. And I'm curious here in the room, who is at the level of 10 people? Quite a few. When you reach 10 people, it's a fundamental change in the business. You get to the first valley of death, and the founder needs to develop the ability to delegate. Oops, there you go. And also, as you develop the ability to delegate, you need to hire or develop the leaders who will take the company to the next level. When the company reaches 25 people, it arrives at the next valley of death. And now, a more scalable organizational structure becomes critical. A lack of alignment between teams becomes evident, and a constant focus on culture now is more important. This is the stage where the leaders must have the ability to align everyone in the organization and simplify the processes and the ways of working. When you reach to 100 people, it's just a different game. Politics and ego come into play. Who can relate to that? This is the stage where it's really important to start adapting and disrupting. And as the phrase goes, if you don't disrupt your business, someone else will. Exactly. So, some of you said you are up to 10 people. Raise your hand again if you are up to 25 people. Up to 100? Above 100? Anybody? Good. So, here's the question. With your stage of growth at where you are, do you have a growth strategy to break through your next valley of death? So with your clickers, I'll put the 10 seconds on the screen. Go for it. For those who answer yes, fantastic. And for the rest, it takes a while. Even for the giants. Apple started in 1976. And it wasn't until the 25-year mark when they made a dent in the universe. And the real scale-up occurred after the 25th anniversary, when Steve Jobs introduced the iPod. And the rest is history. The same is true for Starbucks. They started in 1971, and it wasn't until after the 25th anniversary that the real scale-up occurred, when they went international, and Howard Schultz, back then the CEO, decided to hire his first coach. In Australia, there are also great examples. And there are people that by sitting for long hours are also succeeding. And Simon Griffiths, who decided to sit on the toilet in 2012 in a warehouse and refusing to move until they had raised enough pre-orders to move their production of the recycled toilet paper. 50 hours and one very cold ass later, they had raised $50,000. Now, who gives a crap? It's a toilet paper company, but it's also a purpose-led social enterprise that by donating some of their profit, they are building toilets around the world for those people in need. Now, they made a dent in the market by just shouting their purpose to the world. That was their strategy. Today, they donated more than $8 million, and they helped build more than 400 toilets around the world. Another Australian success company is Canva. And I'm not sure if you know Melanie Perkins. Melanie started in 2007 working from her mother's living room. And it wasn't until 2011 that she met Bill Tai, the person on your right, a Silicon Valley investor. And Bill then said, I'm going to introduce you to Lars Rasmussen, the person on your left. Lars is the co-founder of what is known now as Google Maps. Lars became the tech advisor. And Bill said, Melanie, if you can hire a technical team that can meet Lars' standards, I will invest. And off she went, Melanie presenting person after person to Lars. And off he went, Lars, rejecting person after person. And as Melanie describes it, it was a very frustrating experience. A year after, they found the right person, Cameron Adams, an ex-Google designer, who then became the tech co-founder, and together they grew up to 150,000 users. 1 year later, Melanie did it again, reaching out to Guy Kawasaki, a marketing specialist and a famous author. Guy became the Canvas chief evangelist, and 2 months later, the number of users tripled, reaching in 2015 about 4 million users. Today, they have more than 1,800 people and a market cap of $3.2 billion. And by the way, as of yesterday, she was the number 15th in the wealthiest people in Australia. Talking about wealth. Another example, it's a local one. Perth-born VGW. Do you know VGW? Do you know Lawrence? Good. No way. Great guy. Lawrence founded VGW in 2010. But the real 10x scale-up occurred after 2017, when he grew from 40 people to 400 in 2 years. And Lawrence implemented 2 philosophies to scale. The first one, reorganizing the company into small teams, aligning them on the most important thing, giving them the resources they needed, and empowering them to make their own decisions. The second philosophy was the meeting rhythm, to strategize, align, and focus 400 people on the most important thing. And as Lawrence describes it, the discipline that they needed to bring the company to the next stage. And how Lawrence did it is driven by one of my favorite quotes of all times. We have the answers, all the answers. It's the questions that we don't know. And I'm confident that given any question, most of you in this room will be able to answer that question. I'm concerned you might be working on the wrong questions. And I'm not sure what answer you're going to get today. I want to help you get better questions. And it was Patrick Lencioni who came up with the 6 questions to achieve organizational clarity. And we're going to review 3 of those questions that you can bring back to your teams tonight. Take the photo. Why we exist? What is the most important thing right now? And who must do what? Why we exist is about your purpose. Like Canva's purpose is about empowering the world. And who gives a crap? It's about giving back. And as Simon Sinek says, you have to start with why. And the Harvard Business School reveals that out of the companies who grew more than 10% in the last 3 years, 58% of them have a clear purpose, well communicated, that is driving better decisions and innovation. So what's your purpose about? And is it clear and well understood by everyone in your company? And again, with your clickers, you can vote. I'll put the 10 seconds on the screen. For those who answer yes, fantastic. For the rest, if you want the purpose to be absolutely clear with everyone in your company, you have to make it a priority. And as Vern Harnish says, you want to keep the main thing, the main thing. And it's about your priorities, your most important thing that you must achieve in the next 12 months, the next quarter, next week, today. And again, the Harvard Business School reveals that out of the companies who have 1 to 3 company-wide priorities, 44% of them grew above industry average. And out of the companies from 3 to 6, 36 experienced growth above industry average. Take the photo. So here's the question. Do you have a set of 3 to 6 priorities, company-wide, to keep everyone aligned and focused? 10 seconds on the screen. Again, for those who said yes, congratulations. And for the rest, you can keep everyone aligned, implementing Lawrence's philosophy number 2, the meeting rhythm. And it all starts with the daily, the tactics, the leadership team getting together every day. Can you hear me? Yeah. Every day for 15 minutes, reviewing what is the top priority, what do we need to achieve today? And then the weeklies, reviewing the priorities. What are the actions getting assigned? I'll continue. Doesn't matter. Can you hear me like this? Can you hear me before? No. Good. I'll want to move. There you go. Okay. Well, I'll try not to move that much. We went through the daily, the weekly, where you review your priorities and your actions to move things forward, and the monthlies, where you deep dive into the big issues. And how do you know it's a big issue? Think about pattern recognition. think about the trends, the recurring issues that happen with your customers, the recurring issues that happen with your employees. Where are you stuck in your weeklies? Where are you stuck in your dailies? Think about that pattern recognition to identify your big thing to deep dive. And then your quarterlies is where you review what happened last quarter and what do we need to achieve the next quarter. If there's one meeting that I would recommend you start implementing tomorrow morning with your teams, is the daily huddle. And this is how it goes. It's a 15-minute meeting where everyone in the leadership team get together standing, so you don't get too comfortable, answering these 3 questions. What is your top priority today? What critical metrics, numbers, as Brendan and Raymond were talking about, do we need to discuss now? And where do you need help? So, by the way, Alex, do we have 5 minutes?
Yes.
Good. Who would like to be coached on how to implement a daily huddle? Good. I'll come to you. Can we have a microphone over there? I'll try this with 40 years. Yes. Who do you work with?
Yeah, Bren.
Come here. Come over here. Would you like to stand? This is a standing, daily huddle. All right, Ankita, Brendan, thank you. We're going to simulate that tomorrow morning. We'll go back in the office, and I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do today? What is your top priority?
Like, do you want me to answer actuals and things?
Without revealing any sensitive information.
I'm going to go through my emails. I'm going to prioritize my top 3 tasks. I'm going to see what I can delegate and what I absolutely have to do myself.
Excellent.
And
Now,
leave as early as possible.
oh, yes. A key for success is specifics. So when we say, I want to go through emails, that's not very specific. But if we go, I want to do these top 3 priorities, as you said, then Brendan, please go and ask and keep each other accountable. What are those top 3 priorities? And if you don't know that now, that's okay. But when you say the top priorities, this is the 3 things I want to achieve, that's a critical number already that you can use. And when you say, I want to delegate, to whom?
To my ad specialist.
Good. Do they know that you're going to delegate that to them tomorrow morning?
We have an end of day scrum and a daily huddle in the morning. So
excellent. So they're already implementing this. Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic. Do you need any help? And who can give you a hand?
I'll answer that. So we actually realised we needed help about 4 or 5 weeks ago. We were starting overloading our ad specialist. So Ankita's actually been really busy over the last week interviewing to onboard new people, but we identified that obviously there was that overloading going on because of just inability to complete the priority work every day.
Excellent. So tomorrow morning, what are you specifically going to do today?
For me, well, my role's a bit different. So I've actually got a couple of sales calls that I need to follow up with and people that I had phone conversations with last week that I need to check in with again. So my role's a bit different. I look after sales.
Excellent. When you say conversations, how many conversations?
Yeah, very good. 2 specifically to get booked into my calendar.
Excellent. Who can give you a hand?
My admin.
Fantastic. Congratulations. By the way, give them a hand, please.
Thanks, man.
All right. And as Alex and Walt Disney always remind me of, it is time to stop talking and start doing. Stay focused and keep scaling. Thank you very much.